Hello everyone, welcome to Tuesday Tea with Elsa, and we have Atlas behind me, and we have Rom on the other side, and we have Breezy with us as well, taking a nap. Oh, sorry. I rotated my phone the wrong way for a second and it froze. So yes, Breezy's with us too. So welcome to tea time. I had an interesting thing to talk about today. You'll notice me glance behind quite a bit today. I've got Rom here over my shoulder. He's my mother's horse, and he's a new friend for Atlas. So Atlas is my 8-9-year-old stallion who is learning how to be in the human world. Rom has been with people for a long time, but he's interesting because Rom has been rewarded a lot for getting close to people. He's gotten a lot of food rewards. He's gotten a lot of praise, recognition, grooming, petting, all things that he likes. And so you'll notice that I'm not sitting on the ground today. I am sitting in a chair. See if you can see that. I'm a little up high. I've put their food on an old mattress that's covered with a tarp. So I have all sorts of obstacles so that I don't get run over if the two of them have a disagreement. So, good morning, Katerina. I'm glad you're joining us from New Zealand. Hello, Laurence. The Belgians are here as well. It's such a party. So what I'm talking about here is I've got Atlas and Rom with me. I put some hay on this tarp behind me, and they're eating. It's a fairly high value food. At some point, they might have a fight about this food. And I wanted to make sure that I was up high in a chair. I'm not sitting on the ground. And I have a mattress between me and them, so they have to go on the mattress in order to run me over. And I just set myself up for a little bit more safety than usual. So usually when I do these tea times, you'll see me sitting on the ground right next to the hay. And when I do that, it is something that I do with some thought behind it. So Atlas, even though he came with a history of attacking people, it really was because he had been put in places where he couldn't get away. And if you can't get away and you get a lot of abuse, eventually an attack seems like a plausible thing to try to stop being abused. And unfortunately, it worked for him. So we had to reteach him to yield to people. And we did it very slowly. It took, it's been 1.5 years now. I trust him completely. This horse would never, ever run over me. He would go around me. But that's because we've invested a lot of time in the fact that when he steps away from me, just a small step, I do things that he likes. I make sure and reinforce those small step away movements all the time. So I'm very, very, very safe if I sit on the ground in front of Atlas. Rom here, on the other hand, has been reinforced for coming close to people, for getting close to people, for being snuggly and fun and interactive. I'm not as safe sitting on the ground in front of Rom, because if he gets worried or scared, he's going to move to his safest, comfortable place, which is closer to people. So, yeah, Katerina, the mattress was something I thought up because most horses don't want to walk on a mattress. And, they can eat the hay, see if you can see, without getting sand. I'm in the sand arena, so they're not going to get sand with their hay, but it also sort of protects me. And if they do step on it, that's great. They get a little bit of an education that it's okay to step on a spongy surface. It's not going to hurt them. I love having Rom here, but I thought this was a really good opportunity to talk about drive and draw. So when horses are really reinforced for drawing to you, running to you in the field, coming close to you, it means when they get worried or scared or stressed, they're going to get closer to you. They're going to default to what's been heavily reinforced. I've spent the last year and a half heavily reinforcing Atlas for stepping away from me to counter his past history of attacking people. And I feel really confident in him now. So you're going to see a little bit of action between them. It's interesting. Atlas is definitely the boss. So he is not going to give or yield to Ram. But Ram has a big attitude. So you're going to see his ears pin back. You're going to see him get grumpy. I don't know how hard he's going to fight because he likes the high value hay here. So it might get interesting. We'll just have to see what happens. But I thought I'd talk about this a little bit. Safety is important. And I love a horse to draw to me. I love them to run to me. But I don't want them to run over me if they get scared. And so if horses get scared, I have to think about what's my safety like in relationship to what they've been rewarded for. So Ram has been rewarded. You can see he's eating right behind my chair. He likes being really close. He's going to stick his nose in the camera here at some point. All of these are great traits, but I have to be more careful. I'm not going to sit on the ground right in front of him, particularly not when he's got Atlas on the other side who might threaten him. If this guy feels threatened, he's going to come right over the top of me. And I think this is something really good for us to know about our horses. Now, all right, they're just moving around. I'm going to check them pretty carefully if I see any chaos, because I might need to get up from my chair. Ram might come right over the top of that mattress they're eating on. I'm not sure. Breezy's settling back in. Hello, Breezy. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about this balance between drive and draw, okay? Usually people talk about it in a dominant way. I force a horse to step away from me, or I force a horse to come towards me. Or if they're not talking about forcing it, they're talking about heavily rewarding it. I'm going to give them food rewards when they come to me. Or I'm going to make sure that I stop waving the flag when they step away from me. Hi, Ram. Great big face. Your horse experiences these things in a balance. And they're going to think, how many times in life have I stepped towards humans and life got better? How many times in life did I step away from humans and life got better? We want a balance between those two things. Before I ride a horse, I really want them to think about getting closer to a human as a really good thing, because I want them to stay underneath me. I don't want them to try and get away from my body. But on the ground, there has to be a balance. Now, in freedom-based training, we don't do a lot of making horses do anything. We do a lot of rewarding what happens naturally. And the way we reward what happens naturally is we keep track of what the horse's favorite things are. Does this horse like being scratched? Does this horse like me standing on the left side or the right side? Whatever it is that the horse likes is the thing you're going to do after they naturally take an action that you appreciate. So with Atlas, I've put a huge amount of effort into reinforcing and rewarding him stepping away from me. If you have a horse that has a history of attacking people, you have to heavily reinforce them stepping away. Now, I haven't done a lot of chasing him or pushing him because we needed to make progress really gently, and I didn't want him to be afraid of people. It's only in the last couple of months that we've started to reinforce the stepping towards me some of the time. So with these two, hi Ram, he's gonna get hay in my hair. You can see Rom really has no sense of personal space. He's gonna put hay in my hair, he's gonna eat right next to my chair, and if Atlas chases him, he'll probably run right over me. I'm hoping because we've got the mattress behind me and I've got my chair, I'll be safe, but no guarantees. Big sigh from Atlas. That makes me feel better. So we always hope that the horse's stress levels are low enough that they're not going to show any fight behavior. But as soon as you put down a high value food in a limited quantity, that's going to raise the stress levels. And what we do in freedom-based training is we try and teach the horse to change focus and take deep breaths and do all sorts of things that counter an environmental raise of stress. And I'm seeing Atlas do a fabulous job so far. You know, he's got high quality hay that he doesn't usually have here with me and Rom, and he's taking deep breaths. He's really relaxed about it. He's not pushing Rom. I know he's not going to push me. He's been really heavily rewarded for stepping away from me, not towards me. So I feel really safe with Atlas. So that's just something I wanted to bring up today. Rom's visiting right here, right next to my chair. Hi, Rom. Think about the environment that you're in, and whether it's the weather or the temperature of the day. Hi, Rom. Or whatever it is. All of those are factors that come into life being more or less stressful. And thank you, Katerina. Yeah, it feels a little bit like a thriller here. I'm like, 1 horse, 2 horse, 1 horse, 2 horse. Are they all behaving themselves? Am I safe here? So far it's turning out way better than I expected. I was a little nervous to do this tea time because I just didn't know what to expect from this big guy who is practically in my lap now. Atlas over there still has quite a respectable distance. But think about it. Think about it when you're with your horses. When they take a little step towards you, is that when you make them feel the best? Or when they take a little step away from you, is that when you make them feel the best? What's their default? In a perfect world, it's perfectly balanced. They like both directions equally well. In the real world, you have this guy who is practically in my lap and will be at every opportunity. And then you have this guy who we've done some really, really careful counter conditioning with so that I feel very, very safe with him. Riding wise, obviously I'm nowhere close to riding this guy. We're going to need to build a lot more comfort and ease and good association with draw with him before I ride him. Rom, the big chestnut, is obviously lovely to ride. He doesn't try and get away from his rider. So it's balance. You want the balance, but you got to think about where your horse's strength is. And their greatest strength can also be their greatest weakness, depending on the circumstance. So I'm going to leave you guys with those thoughts. Rom has taken a little walk. He got tired of the food. Never would have guessed that. I'm going to sit here and drink tea and hang out with Atlas and Breeze and see if Rom comes back. So thank you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are, and I look forward to seeing you for tea next week. Let me know if you have a subject you would like me to talk about. I'm always open to whatever it is you guys have on your mind. Otherwise, I'll just tell you what's on my mind. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you guys later.